Okay, sounds good. Hey, Amy Storer is in the house. How are you, Amy?
Oh, Amy.
Can you hear our audio coming through? And now that we have another Amy, we have an Amy Porter as well. So.
Oh, Amy Porter.
Yeah,
Amy
From Porter.
Salina.
11.
That's my Amy Porter.
She cut through 1 through 10. All right. So
I'm like, thank you for letting me be here. You Twitter celebrities.
Just wait till they see your graphic, Jacob.
We got Brian.
And you're
going to
be the celebrity.
Yeah. So can you guys hear the audio? Oh, Amy looks like gave us a thumbs up. Cool. Well, welcome to an unprecedented event that had to go down. So for those of you just tuning in, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it after the fact on social media, on any one of your social media platforms, we'd like to welcome you guys to this official live stream to talk about distance learning and digital learning. Because of what we've got going on, school closures, from what we know, we've got school closures everywhere. So we want to make sure we give you guys, we empower you, educators out there, whether you're an instructional assistant, whether you're a student teacher, a first-year teacher, a veteran teacher, or you just put in for your retirement last week. We want to make sure that we empower you with digital tools for distance learning and everything that, with everything going on, we want to make sure that we equip your digital toolbox with what you need to meet the needs of your students. So if, like I said, if you're watching this, look, first thing I did, touch my face. First thing you're not supposed to do is touch your face. So
yeah, that was our first point, right?
That was our first point, yeah.
First bullet.
So those of you who are tuning in, this is actually being recorded and will be uploaded to both YouTube, IGTV, and I will pull the audio from this as well for a special episode of the EdTech Bites podcast. If you guys are following that, see, my face is itching already. There we go. All right. So with that being said, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Jacob Luevano, and I'm an instructional tech specialist in Manor ISD. I touch my face.
I'm Tisha Poncio, a digital learning coach in Salina ISD, which is north of Dallas.
Cool. And I am Gabriel Carrillo, instructional technology specialist here in San Antonio, Texas. Cool. I feel like
we all kind of have the same roles, huh?
Yeah. I feel like it's not. Are you guys hearing me out there? Brian, Amy, anyone
Brian
out there?
Smith will tell you.
Yeah, he will. Can you hear Gabriel? Okay. It's not switching to mine like when we were speaking. So I have a feeling it's not coming through. Let's see.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, perfect. All right, sweet. All right, well, we got some tools that we're going to go ahead and share. So first and foremost, we want to go over a couple things when it comes to digital learning, distance learning, especially with this being like the first time this is going down. There we go. I just didn't click on my face. So being that this is the first time this is going down, this is something that's really historic, I guess you would call it. One of the things that you want to consider is always check with your district's plan. Don't try to stray too much from it. Because you're still under the guidelines and under district policies. So make sure that you're following whatever plan it is that you guys have adopted and are actually implementing. That way you're not going against anything and you're covering yourself. So always keep that in mind. And we've got a couple of tools. Each one of us is actually going to take about 5 minutes to present a couple of tools and a couple of different things that you guys can do. And I don't want to start it off. So Jacob or Tisha, which one of you want to go ahead and take it? And we're gonna actually do a K5 discussion and then a secondary discussion. So All
Well,
right.
I'll go ahead and start it off if you guys are okay with that, since
Cool.
I am talking about daily schedules, which is one of the things that I think is really important if you're implementing remote learning or distance learning, is to come up with a schedule. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay with you guys.
Go for it.
I'm totally against it. Not having it. Go for it.
Okay, let's see what I've got here. I never know exactly. Sharing on Zoom, I mean, we're definitely going to talk about that in a minute, but sharing on Zoom, you have to be very intentional about what you're clicking. Can you guys see my screen here?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So I used Bunsy. I will tell you there's lots of other tools and I'm going to share those with you. But I went into Bunsy earlier and I went to create a new Bunsy and just search schedule, and there's already templates here. And so the reason I think a schedule is important, this really would apply to not just K-5, but I think it also applies to high school, and it applies to any parents. If you're a parent and an educator or just a parent watching, I think when we are all home all the time, it's very important to establish some sort of schedule for our students and our remote students or our own children. So I went and searched in Bunsy. Now, just so you know, Bunsy Bryan told me yesterday that, you know, they are working around the clock working on giving free accounts to all of these educators. So if you don't have Bunsy and you sign up, and you don't see that you're getting all of the free, I mean, all of the premium features, let me know, but they are going to work and make sure that you have what you need. So I searched up for schedule, and then I'm going to show you this Bunsy. I was telling the guys that they were going to laugh at this. But Jacob and I always talk about how we're visual. And I was really just thinking on an elementary level. And I was thinking of my son who's in 4th grade. Putting together a schedule for him has always been something that I do in the summer. But it's very important that I'm intentional about what he's doing. So I just went in and used the template in Bunsy, and I just pulled in pictures so that I could just share this as a graphic with him. You could do the same thing with your students, pull that in Seesaw, pull it into Google Classroom, or even just share it with your parents. And I don't know if all of these will be self-explanatory, but you know, he's going to get up maybe around 8 or 9. I'm not really a stickler on the waking up time this week. But he's going to brush his teeth and do his hair and make his bed and eat his breakfast, right? And then after that, we're going to move into maybe some remote learning. If that's even a possibility in our district, then we would do that. If your district doesn't have any schedule or set expectations, you absolutely could put together something as a parent. And then 12 o'clock, he's going to eat. I'm going to have him do some like reading. Maybe I'm going to teach him how to play dominoes. I know Brian Smith would be really excited about that. Maybe some movie time. And then I know you see my dish soap there, but my kids are going to do chores. So I built that into our schedule. I love video games. I built that in, and you'll see at 2 o'clock, if the weather's great, we're going outside. We're going to play some tennis. And then 4 o'clock, we would do some more learning and maybe cooking of dinner. This is just one example. And obviously, you guys, I didn't put a ton of time in this like I would if I was really sharing it with a teacher or a class. But this is just one way to create a schedule. Another idea is this one. I pulled this screenshot off of a Facebook post. This has been going around like crazy. And I saw it on Facebook, and then I saw Katie Martin had a blog. This is just another example from Jessica McHale Photography. I definitely want to shout that out because the graphic somehow has her name off of it. So I like to give credit. But adjust these times and these things for what's going to work for your class or your family. Adobe Spark Post is another one. If you don't know about Adobe Spark, this is a great tool to use. You can see I've created graphics for my SWAT team. And then Canva is also another creation tool. I use this one as well. You can see I've created flyers and all sorts of different things in here. And the templates are there. So, you know, you don't have to start from scratch, but Jacob and I are visual, so we like to have all of that there. And I didn't talk about this during our planning meeting, but Google Docs is a really easy way to also create a schedule. This is a choice board that I created, and you can color code it if you like things to be color coded. You can do that as well. Do you want me to lead into the Flipgrid stuff, or do you want to come back to that, Gabe?
Just go for it.
Oh, okay. So one of the other tools we discussed was Flipgrid. And I left the screen up because I wanted you to see what Flipgrid has. I logged in with my school account. Obviously, Flipgrid is free, but they have the Flipgrid Remote Learning Guide. It pops up immediately when you log in. So I'll click on that and show you. They have listed all sorts of resources here. And so if you're a district that's using Flipgrid, this is a great way to connect with your students. It gives you a really quick guide for educators and students and families and just daily tips. I want to share this one with you guys if you didn't see that. My friend Ramesh, who's incredible. If you don't follow him, go follow him. Dr. Ram Bio. He set up this moderated grid to support his students, and he has office hours. So I think it's a really great way to connect with your families or with your students and be able to build connection, especially for those of us that aren't leaving our house. You know, we're not leaving, we're just here together. It's a great way to feel emotionally connected again. It's also a great way for your families to ask you questions and maybe just to check in for fun with your students. I saw somebody did a Google Classroom for their biology class, but then they did another Google Classroom called I Miss Your Face, and which I love that idea, but you could create a Flipgrid with that and give them fun topics. I've used a topic before that all of my students love to talk about, which is what's the oldest thing in your refrigerator, and tell what it is and kind of describe why it's still there. I know. So there's lots of great ways to connect with your students, and it doesn't have to be so intense. It doesn't have to be always intense learning, but just a way to connect with them. So Flipgrid is a great tool. I recommend you go on there, look at their blog. They will help you day and night. So don't forget about that. I forgot, Gabe, can you guide me? What else am I talking about? My blog.
Your blog, yeah.
I will put up all of the resources from tonight. Everything that Jacob and Gabe and I talk about, I will put up here. And I've just been listing things as I go, and I'm trying to make it very user-friendly for those teachers who are brand new to remote learning. So if you have any questions, just remember to feel free to reach out at any time. And now,
cool.
I'm handing it over.
All right, Jacob, you want to take it or you want me to go?
All right, yeah, I can go now.
Go for it, man.
So several things to talk about. Obviously, we're talking about connected learning. Let me share my screen real quick. And one of our favorite tools in our district in Manor ISD is going to be Nearpod. And I know, come on, where is it? Is that working?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So Nearpod is one of our favorite resources in our district. So I know that, you know, when the talks started happening for, you know, or the possibility of having, you know, e-learning coming to our district, you know, Brooke Park, who works with me, we were thinking about how we're going to make this a little bit easier for our, you know, teachers to utilize. We don't have a full district license. So one of the great things Nearpod did was, you know, they obviously opened up their entire library to everyone. But one thing a lot of folks forget is that Nearpod is aligned to state standards. So if you're really concerned about what your kids are going to be, you know, learning at home, if they have that access and you want it to be, you know, exactly maybe closer to what your scope and sequence or closer to what your timeline in your campus or your district is using, they do have this really cool tool. When you search their database of lessons, you can go straight to your state standard, you know, pick your, you know, subject, grade level, and even go down, dig down as far as into the TEAC. which a lot of folks who've used Nearpod, something you would think they should probably know, they still kind of don't know that they can do that. But it really helps in kind of narrowing down your search if you are going to be sharing tools online. This is a wonderful tool. The lessons generally have some assessments built in. I don't expect our teachers or any teacher to really go and start checking and assessing their kids, you know, if they're at home during this time. But if you have to, I guess you can totally do it, because this will actually give you some access to that. Now, of course, that's just talking about using, you know, some digital tools. I like to focus a lot. I'm really big on, of course, robotics is one of my favorite things. STEM learning is one of my big pushes in our district. And so we're setting up a website on our district page, which is iteachmaynard.org, and I'll share that a little bit later through our doc. But I'm starting to put together some resources and some offline type resources. Obviously, you have to go online to grab these, but there are things that will not require a computer, won't require iPads. They'll just require stuff around your house. So some of them are going to be, you know, Lego challenges. I found some really cool ideas. This one kind of popped out to me. This was made by a Dr. Lan. I kind of spotted it on Twitter. I really don't have like more information. It was like someone was sharing this, but I guess Dr. Langred. This is a really cool idea. Obviously, it's a full week of activities, but these are simple activities that pretty much anyone can do without even using technology. Like go for a walk, create a video. If you don't have a video, just write a journal, you know, take notes of what you're seeing. Those kind of things, you know, to spark that ideas or that creative thinking in the kids' minds, I guess, just to keep them from just playing video games all day or doing nothing. Simple things like this can go a long way. So I'm really big on kind of promoting, keep it simple. You don't want to, if it's not going to be as rigorous as it is in your classroom, don't worry about it. Because if you start stressing about that, then it's really not going to happen. Make it as simple as you can. So when your students and parents and community are starting to look for something to do with their students, it'll be simple to use and simple to view. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good one there, man. And I have to chime in here because Brian Smith put in our chat here that for Nearpod, everyone has access to the vocabulary video pack as well.
Yes.
So please take advantage of that. That's awesome, man. Which leads to me, right?
It does.
Should probably put my face on there. There we go. All right. I'm not going to mute my face like you did earlier there, Jacob. All right. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different things having to do with screencasting and creation tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly. Well, I don't have to. I'm already sharing it right now as we speak. Didn't even think about that. I just went into robot mode. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show off Reflector. So you guys are probably seeing that Reflector pop up there. And if you don't know what Reflector is, it's basically turning your computer, whatever device that you have Reflector installed on, it's turning that client or that server into an Apple TV or a Chromecast of some sort, where you can then take your mobile device, in this case I have an iPhone, and actually put your content on the screen and do some screen recording and things like that. And I'm also going to show you guys how to actually record using your iPhone. So I'm going to go ahead and see, when I need it, my phone doesn't want to unlock. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and go to my phone and start mirroring my phone really quickly. So there's my code. So I went into my settings and I basically started looking for an Apple TV, and it found my PC here. And as you can see now, I'm showing my phone. And what I want to do is I want to do a screen recording. So I'm going to go ahead and pull down on my settings. And some of you might see that there is a screen recording feature. Of course it's turned off. Why would it be turned on? Why would it be turned on? It's because I'm reflecting, that's why. But I can actually record directly from Reflector. And now I'm recording what's going on in my phone, and I can now use an app like Paper. And let me grab a pen real quick and start annotating on my screen here and recording it. That way, at a later time, I can maybe put that into Google Classroom or Bunsy or a Nearpod lesson or Flipgrid or even Seesaw, because that's another tool that we didn't even talk about too much. Of course, it's taken forever, right? But that's one tool that you can definitely use. And one more time, that is Reflector. There we go. Okay, and now that's off. And then I'm on a Windows PC. I'm on my home PC right now, and I've downloaded this Microsoft Whiteboard. And this Microsoft Whiteboard is available from the Microsoft Store, and it's free 99, so you don't have to pay a thing for it. And it, for as far as I know, has always been free. So what you can do is then you can, if you have a touch PC or a tablet of some sort, you can now take this and actually screencast, or at least come up with some sort of, use this as a whiteboard device. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I had to do my math skills. And use this as a device. So now you can actually teach lessons on there. So that's the whiteboard feature that's built into Microsoft. So you can get that in the Microsoft Store. And a couple of the other tools that we were going to bring up as well, I can't show them. I'll talk about them, but because my camera is being used as a source here, I can't show it off. But screen recording through Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic. So those are two tools. And if you've ever seen anybody screencast, more than likely they're using one of those free tools, because obviously they're free. And you can basically record your screen up to about 15 minutes, depending on which program or which app you use. It's anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. And that's actually a perfect time, because and when I say we, I mean I can't watch a tutorial for 15 minutes. If you can't get the point across in between 4 to 7 minutes, I'm out. I'm done. I'm playing.
I even think it should be less than that, don't you?
Yeah.
2 minutes or less, Gabe.
Yeah, we have a limit. We have a limit of 2 minutes on most of our videos is what we try to do.
Yeah.
Try.
And because you're not recording in the classroom, you don't need that time.
Part 3, if we have to.
Yeah, make a playlist. So make a playlist, put it on YouTube, put it in any one of your LMSs or light LMSs, and use that as a tool to get your content out there. Then you can rely on other tools like Flipgrid and things like that to get some student feedback and things like that. So those are some of the tools that we have for you guys here. We have we still got some folks online. We got about 12, 13 people. We've kind of worked in a little bit of time for some Q&A. So if there's anyone out there who has a question, please put it in the chat right now. That way we can answer any questions you guys might have. Maybe a specific tool, a specific project, or something you wanted to think about. And the other thing we will also like to discuss is be realistic. We didn't really say this at the beginning, but you got to be realistic on what your students can and can't do while they're doing distance learning, remote learning, whatever you want to call it. Remember that it's unfair to assume that what they have is reliable and stable, and that they even have a device to connect. So be realistic as to what your students can do, and like always, check with your district guidelines to make sure that you are abiding by the rules. So let's see if we got any questions in here. Okay, and nothing as of now. If we have anything, go ahead and type it in. We got somebody in here. If you have time to show Seesaw, that would be awesome.
Seesaw's great.
Right. Okay, so let's see here. Since I'm kind of doing this, I'll go.
We had Seesaw on our list for sure.
Yes, we do. So the website for Seesaw is seesaw.me. And I don't think I have an account with this particular Google account, but Avia RIXT, the one who put in that question, do you have any specific questions on Seesaw and what you'd like to see, or just a basic overview? Let us know. Do any of you have a Seesaw account? I have one with my work account, but I don't have my work account on this computer.
Let me see, while you guys are talking, let me see if I can, let me see if I have one. I also wanted to mention, or you guys can talk about Zoom, which is what we're using right now.
Oh yeah.
I went and signed up, but it takes 24 hours before you can get the premium account, I guess. So I wasn't able to look at that yet, but just FYI, it will not happen immediately.
Okay.
And yeah, just to kind of mention, there's a lot of services out there offering those free upgrades or free premium services. And we talked about a little, I guess, earlier when we were kind of planning, is it could get very overwhelming. Twitter right now, if you really want to search for how to get into, into e-learning or setting something up for yourself, there's going to be plenty of resources. So yeah, hopefully what we're doing is narrowing it down for you to some things that kind of we like. But yeah, it'd be great for other folks to suggest some more and crowdsource some other ones that we can add to the blog.
Cool. And we got a couple questions here that came in specific to Seesaw. Is Seesaw free? Yes, Seesaw, the basic version is free. There's a couple of tools that you don't get with the free version. However, you can do a lot with the free version. And one of my favorite things is log in with Google, right? One less thing to authenticate with.
So I'm sharing my screen just so you guys can see. I'm logged in to Seesaw, but you can name your class or you can import from Google Classroom. Like Gabe said, I'm logged in through my Google account, and I can pull over those classes that are linked to Google. So I'm going to allow. We'll see what happens.
And while that's loading, I know we had something else in here about Zoom. Zoom, the free version, you can do up to 3 presenters. And what we're doing now is not, it's not a webinar. We're doing a meeting. We just happen to be streaming the meeting through a whole nother platform. So with this meeting, we can have 3 people. And with the free version, I'm not sure if you can do the webinar, but with the paid, you basically can do all that.
Right. Once you get the paid version. And when I logged in with my account today, my school account under my Salina ISD email, it automatically alerted me that I could fill out a form. And once that form was approved, I would have all the premium features. So I think, and what I'm seeing on Facebook is that is the best place to go for those meetings, whether it is coaches meeting with teachers or teachers wanting to meet with parents and students together, which I think is a great tip. I don't recommend using Zoom to meet with your students without the parents knowing that. I think that's just, I want to throw that out there. It's very important to practice good digital citizenship when we're using these tools. Back to Seesaw, I wanted to show you, because I'm still sharing my screen, I'm pulling over my SWAT class, which is my student technology leadership class, and I'm just going to pretend like they're in 11th grade. Some of them are. And then I can pull over my classes. And this is a great, I'm going to tell you, Seesaw is like the beginner learning management system, which I think is a great way to introduce your students. You can see that it's pulled in all of my students from my Google Classroom. It looks a lot different than the last time I logged in, so I really can't show you a whole lot more, but if you want to connect, I can set up a meeting and kind of walk you through that. It's pretty, it's pretty simple, which I like the interface because it's simple.
Cool. And then the other thing we forgot to mention about Zoom is you do have the ability to record your meetings. So you can record your meetings, and what I really like is you can actually pull the audio as a separate file. That way you can do a podcast, maybe with your students or with your parents or what have you. Cool. All right. So I think that's it for the questions that we have. We got some thank yous in there. You guys want to maybe give your social media and things like that, how they can connect with you and the blog?
Sure. Let me go. Well, my social media is Texas Tech Chick at TXTECHCHICK. If you find me on Twitter, which I don't even think you really need an account, you don't have to have a Twitter account to find that profile. You can find my blog. I have a couple of them, but reach out to me on Twitter. I'll send it to you directly. I'm on Facebook as Empowered Educator. I'm on Instagram as Tisha Poncio. That's a lot more family stuff, but some education stuff. And just connect anytime. I know I'm speaking for Gabe and Jacob when I say that we are here to help you. We're helping our teachers, but we also are here for you. So reach out and let us know how we can serve you.
Yep. Yeah. And you can reach me at Jacob Tech, JACOBTECH on Twitter. And that's pretty much the best way for you to get in touch with me. The other one is the website I showed is iteachmaynard.org. And that will kind of talk more about, or I guess contain more of what we're doing with our district on the instructional technology side.
Cool. And you could find me on Instagram and Twitter at EdTechBytes. And then my website is edtechbytes.com. And the podcast is the EdTech Bytes podcast, which this will be on later. So those are our social media platforms. We want to thank everyone out there for tuning in, joining us. And hopefully you could spread the word and add some more tools to your digital tool belt to be a more empowered educator in this time of this is going down in history. This is going down in history. So we'll be reading about this in the future. So thanks, Tisha. Thanks, Jacob. And
Thank you for
talk to you
having
guys
us.
next time.